So, the solar plexus is usually the chakra where we can experience and feel anxiety, and all anxiety is fear. And in order to counteract anxiety and fear, it takes courage. So, courage is facing your fear and overcoming it. And one way that we can face and overcome our fear is by visualizing it as something tangible that we can communicate with. So, we can do this in different ways for different people. It'll work best or resonate in different ways. One way that I like to see it is seeing my inner child as having this fear. And so I see the fear that's coming up, like the little girl inside of me that's so scared of something, and then I talk to her and I allow that fear to exist, and I ask her how it feels, and I ask her what she's afraid of. So I get clarity on what this worst case scenario that feels so scary is. And then I can be there as the adult to reassure her and let her know it makes sense that you feel scared about this. This makes complete sense to feel this way, especially knowing that our subconscious mind is there to protect us. And fears can come up when we're doing something that might be unfamiliar, because scary things could happen and it wants to keep us safe and alive and protected. So just valuing that and recognizing that and saying it makes complete sense, and thank you for caring about my life enough to care that something I do could be dangerous, and I recognize that this is scary and it makes complete sense. And then giving this reassurance that I'm an adult now and I'm very resourceful and I can get us through this, and I'm choosing this because I know that even if it doesn't work out, I'll figure things out and something good will happen from this and I'll keep us safe. So just reassuring the inner child that you're here as an adult and that you'll always be here. So you've got this. Just recognizing that you can find solutions to things. Things can work out. And even if things don't go according to plan, you'll be okay. So it's also choosing to do things where you know that aren't like actually putting yourself into physical danger, like choosing to do things that expand you that definitely could have fears, but knowing also sometimes it's also getting clarity on what is worst case scenario, and then ensuring that you've got some type of a safety net or something that you know you'll be okay if it doesn't work out completely. That can be really helpful and really powerful, because otherwise if you're doing something where it's like life or death, like that can just be way too much for the nervous system and might not actually be the best risk to take. So just ensure first of all that you've got this no matter what, and then tell the inner child that. So I just want to be clear on, like, I'm not encouraging you to do incredibly dangerous things, and just let's develop courage and do whatever you want, like still within the limits of being a human being and whatever you actually are physically capable of. Just want to, as a disclaimer, please be safe. So that's one way that you can overcome a fear, is by seeing it as the inner child part of you that is legitimately scared and that it completely makes sense, and to really give it that love and care to reassure it. And another way could also be to allow the fear to come up. And if you do believe in a higher power like God, sometimes it's just letting yourself fully feel that fear. Sometimes it might even come out through crying or purging energetically, like feeling the feeling of how scary something can be and letting it move through your nervous system, and praying for safety, praying for protection, and even praying for a sign that what you're doing is best. Because sometimes we can take a leap of faith in life, and we want to know that God or the universe or the divine will be there to catch us when we're doing this. And we also want to know that we are being divinely guided to take this leap of faith, knowing that it is what's best for us. So sometimes even asking for divine confirmation before making a choice and taking a leap of faith. Ask for a clear sign. At one point for me, it was I was being guided to take a leap of faith that felt really scary, and I asked God, if it's best for me to do this, then please show me a 4-leaf clover. And I wanted a real 4-leaf clover on the ground in real life, that I had never seen one before in my life, a real 4-leaf clover. And so for me, this was something that, because it was something that felt like it was so scary for me to do, I wanted a very clear sign from God that was something that I had never seen before. So it wasn't something normal to see, like a purple flower or a butterfly, but you can ask for something like that. So depending on what it is and how scary this might be for you, whatever it is that you're doing, ask for a sign that kind of relates to what you're doing. For me, it was a leap of faith that felt terrifying, and so I asked God for a clear sign of something that wouldn't necessarily be easy to see, like statistically. And for me, within 5 minutes of asking God, please show me a four-leaf clover if this is what's best for me, I started looking at the ground, and within 5 minutes, I found a four-leaf clover. That was my first time ever finding a four-leaf clover in my life. And so I felt like I had very clear divine guidance and confirmation that this is a leap of faith that was best for me to be taking. And so with that, as I moved in that direction, lots of different fears came up in order for me to process and purge them and let them go to expand and grow and move into this energy of courage and connection with the divine and faith in the divine, that I'm moving in the right direction. So at certain points, it was just helpful that anytime fear would come up, I would cry and let the fear exist, or I would journal or do whatever to, as we talked about in the emotions videos, like how we best feel and process and purge our emotions. I would just let the emotion of fear exist, and I would pray for protection and safety. And that's what really helped me also have the courage with certain things. And so it really depends on what exactly you're experiencing fear around, which avenue can be the best to overcome it. And just recognize that courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So you recognize that there's a fear that exists, and you're still moving forward anyways and doing what you can to allow the fear to exist and to also overcome it. And you can also make a list of all of your fears. Like when you get down to the root of it, most fears kind of lead back to us either being attacked or killed or something. Like it's usually like worst case scenario gets to like some dark places. And so sometimes it can be helpful to actually recognize that and shed light on the dark. So one of the best ways of letting go of the dark is just turn the light on. So let's turn the light on to this darkness that exists that we're scared of. Make a list of all like the worst case scenario things that you're afraid of, and then on the other side write positive affirmations or a prayer that's related to it. So I am always safe, I am always protected. An archangel that's really helpful for protection is Archangel Michael. So maybe you just pray to Archangel Michael and visualize Archangel Michael being there with you, keeping you safe and protected. And all the affirmations or prayers that you have, that I am safe, I am protected, I am cared for, I am safe, I am protected. Or it's a prayer, please keep me safe, please keep me protected. You can visualize a white light surrounding you and the energy of your guardian angels, spirit guides, your ancestors, and your divine team and God surrounding you with this beautiful white protective bubble of light and energy that's keeping you safe and protected. And always tuning in for this inner guidance and asking, is this what's best for me? So when we get more into the intuition module later, we'll get a clear sense on how to listen to our intuition, how to receive messages from the divine and our spirit guides. And so as we get into that, then you can also get clear guidance on actions to take moving forward that will be the best and that will keep you safe also. And sometimes the fears that we have come from beliefs. So for example, if you grew up in a household where everyone had the same type of job and it was very like cookie cutter, like this is what we do in order to feel safe, this is what we know best, and we're all doing this, and then you want to do something different, maybe you want to start a business when everyone else has this very like safe, clear cookie cutter job, and they're encouraging you to take the safe route, like this is what they know. So your entire life you've been programmed with this is what's safe, and it's almost like everything else outside of this is scary. So this is what we do to be safe, this is what we've always done, and this is how we're safe. But you've got this desire that just keeps coming back, like you want to do something different, and you want to get into business and do something that it might seem incredibly scary to what you're used to or what your lineage or family is used to, but you just keep having this calling to do this. This is a belief that you have that it's scary and risky, and this can be based on what you've seen in society, what you've grown up being told. Whereas someone who grew up in an environment where everyone was entrepreneurial in their family and they all started their own businesses and they went to school for business and they learned all about business, and that's something that's so normal for them, and the parents taught the child how to get into business, and the child started their first business when they were 10 years old because they had such an entrepreneurial spirit, because that's what they had in their family and in their lineage and what they grew up around. And so for them, it's normal and safe to have a business. And if that business doesn't work out, then that's also normal, because most businesses don't last past 5 years. And that's because people learn and grow and figure different things out. And so if you start one business and you're doing something, you might realize, oh, this isn't actually exactly what I want to do from this. And I learned a lot from this and learned different skills. So now I'm going to go start a different business and do things slightly differently. And so it's actually normal for businesses to not last a long time, because it's how you grow. Or you might have one business you end up selling and then going on to something different. And so it's just this belief. So you can have wildly different beliefs based on how you grew up, where you grew up, what you were programmed with, what you experienced. So you also might have just had your own business and had a failure in it, but recognizing you can see failure in different ways. And one way you can see it, like, this was the worst, scariest thing ever. You could have gone bankrupt and had like horrible things happening. And so of course it's going to get like, that's a trauma. So you experienced trauma, which led you to have this belief that this thing is scary. So I'm using business as an example. This could be anything in life. This could be marriage. This could be anything. So let's say you've got this belief that's now tied with trauma, and of course you're going to feel scared. Like, that's it's going to be so normal and understandable to feel scared. But just recognizing that our beliefs can change at any point. And you can also shift to imagine, again, bringing up this inner child of, let's say that you come into the world with, like I had mentioned about that family that grew up in business, entrepreneurial, all of this stuff, recognizing that failures are just stepping stones on the way to having the best business for you and the best reality for you, and that this sense that everything always works out perfectly for you. And you can move into that and imagine yourself as being that. So you can take yourself through an exercise of, imagine that you came into this life, and that, I'm gonna again go through the business example, but this could be anything for you. If it's marriage or anything else, you can just switch out the word business for whatever it is. It's a desire for you that feels scary or that you have a limiting belief around. So let's say with business, so now, like, I am a child, I'm born into a family of entrepreneurs and business owners. And as a child, I learn all about taking chances and trying different things business-wise. And anytime I try something that doesn't work out, I have great encouragement from the adults and people in my life that teach me, like, that's okay. What did you learn from this? How can we grow from this? How can we do things differently? And so all problems equal opportunities, and it's always an opportunity to learn from. Losses equal lessons. So I'm always growing and expanding and shifting, and I know that things will always work out for me. If I have a business that doesn't work out for whatever reason, I always learn from it and I grow from it, and I gain more skills and I become more successful as time goes on. And I have great resources around me through the people around me to teach me what's best to have a successful business, and I'm always doing well in business. So you program yourself with those thoughts and beliefs, and you can choose that, like, be reborn today and come into your new life with this energy that these are your beliefs, this is your reality, and reprogram that, rewrite your story. So you can physically write that down as, this is your story, and then read that daily, feel into that energy daily, know that success is yours, you are worthy of success, things can go well for you. So just shifting your beliefs for things to go well for you. And we'll also, when we get into the module on the brain, that's more, I think I'm calling it thoughts and intuition, but it'll talk about our beliefs too. So we'll have a whole video on beliefs to rewire our brain too and shift that. But just know, like, I'll give you a little preview, is that your neural pathways in your brain, it takes time and you need repetition in order to shift them, but they are malleable and you can shift them. So you can physically reprogram your brain in order to believe in good things for yourself. And that's completely possible. And one of the main things we're doing here is we're shifting and rewiring our brain in order to bring about the desired reality for ourselves. And most of the thoughts that we have are habitual. So we just keep thinking the same thoughts. And so if you've got 30, 40, 50 years of having certain thoughts, then it's just a habit to keep having them. So that is something, it takes a bit of time to just retrain every day, retraining yourself with these new thoughts and building new, stronger neural pathways to have your desired reality. Believe that it's possible, believe that you're living it or moving towards it, and you can shift your reality through clearing your energy, shifting your beliefs, and moving into your life with this new energy and new beliefs. And if you have been programmed with limiting beliefs around someone, choose to seek out people who have been successful in whatever it is you're wanting success in. Look for examples and inspiration and learn from them. Only take advice from people who have what you're wanting to have, especially when it comes to what you're wanting to have. So if it is, instead of business, if it is a successful marriage, then look out for couples who have the type of marriage that you want and who are teaching about their dynamic and how to be in that dynamic, and learn from them and reprogram yourself through their beliefs. Pretend that they were your parents and that you grew up with that and you soaked in that as your reality, and reprogram yourself every day with that. And the more you shift your beliefs and your inner confidence, the more you'll have the motivation and willpower to take action towards the life of your dreams. So in the next video, we're going to get into motivation and willpower. So what you just listened to was a sample from my program Sanctuary. Sanctuary is a program to heal the past, claim your power, and create your dream life. If you'd like to go further with this, then join the program Sanctuary. I'll link it down below. And if you're not ready to sign up right away, I actually have a free sample of Sanctuary in my free school community. So I'll link that down below too. So click the links, either join Sanctuary or check out the free sample of it in my school community, and I'll see you there. Thanks so much for watching, and may you be happy, healthy, and free.